Friday, March 8th, 2024, and the women of The View loved the State of the Union address last night. Across the board or across the table, every one of them, even Amy Alyssa Farrah Griffin said, I feel like Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump. It's like, okay, there's a little back from the dark side. Um, and they all picked out their best moments. When he talked directly to the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, telling them basically you fucked up and you're going to find out the political power of women um, in this election. And God, I hope he's right. Um, that clapping back to the boisterousness, it was weird. They kind of cheered on the fact that he turned it into a participation event, which it really shouldn't be. Um, because aside from the outbursts and Marjorie Taylor Greene being a complete dick, there was just a lot of talkback going on through the whole thing um, that just seemed inappropriate. And it was, I talked about this in the previous videos, was sort of my response immediately after. Um, but the whole thing did feel a little disrespectful in general. And the Chuck Schumer came on to also talk about the State of the Union address and talking about admonishing uh, the Republicans for lying about January 6th and how they all just sort of put their heads down. But their heads were down and in their phones most of the time. And did you also notice that they've all started to dress like Donald Trump? It's the dark suit and the red tie, and like it's just like a uniform now. That like things are really it's getting Handmaid's Tale-y. And so is the rebuttal. But we'll get into that. So anyway, everyone loved the State of the Union address. I also would like to just bring up there was a woman who was sitting next to Maxine Waters. I don't know who she was, but she didn't seem to know how to clap. It was like, um, you know, Gob. What did they call him on Arrested Development when he would dance like a chicken? She had a weird clap. Anyway, um, and Mike Johnson's facial expressions were weird throughout the whole thing. He just seems smarmy. But and if he weren't so smarmy and a traitor, I would kind of think he's cute. But anyway, the Republican response from Katie Britt, is that her name, from Alabama? Holy crap. Not only was it a horrible self-tape audition for some part that she's just not going to get, and I love that everybody's using that because that's exactly what it looked like, kind of almost hostage video-ish. Um, chained to her kitchen table, um, and just so dramatic, and all gloom and doom, and no solutions, not one vision for the future. Um, Going in great detail about the pain and the horrors of rape, and then you're supporting a man who's been hasn't been convicted of rape. He's been uh, held liable for rape, which is weird to have to parse that out, and is clearly a sexual abuser. But anyway, to me, that whole thing just sort of epitomized exactly what the GOP is really about, right? The woman belongs in the kitchen, um, uh, scared and angry, and we aren't going to offer any ideas to help, but we will do these performative um, uh, acts to continue and perpetuate the fear and the anger. Um, that's just pretty much that's all the GOP does. So they don't govern, um, they don't want to govern, and they don't want to help anybody. So except corporations and rich people. Um, I hear this stuff. Papa Joe talked about raising taxes on corporations and the wealthy, and you hear this all the time. When the fuck is it going to happen? Um, and when are we going to release some of the tax burden on people who don't need to be paying it? Like, paying a federal tax on Social Security benefits is fucking ridiculous. It's the money that you took from us to save for us and are now giving back to us in small increments when we're old. Why the fuck do we have to get to pay tax on that? You've been holding on to it the whole time. Anyway, now my eye itches. Um. Anyway, that was all. That the GOP response was a shit show, and it is getting resoundingly blasted across the internet, which is just delightful. Um, Even Republicans are pissed. A lot. You see a lot of very conservative women. Lots of stories of people like my Trump-loving mother, texted me, "What the fuck is this?" And now they're mad at the GOP. Even that, a lot of women didn't like it. Working women didn't like it. Stay-at-home moms didn't like it. Nobody liked it. Uh, so, that's how tough to show your face at the office the next day if you're Katie Britt. Um, I'd love to know who was giving her coaching, because that person should never be hired to coach for another audition ever again. Or even if it was a speech coach, I don't know what it was, but somebody done failed her, uh, and that was pathetic. Uh, but um, you know, Papa Joe did good, keeping things hopeful. Uh, and I saw that even who's that dickhead Democrat senator who was sort of kind of playing with the no labels group, who kept thinking Manchin, who kept thinking that he was going to be their pick for president, third party candidate. Even he has said third party candidate would be a mistake this year. So that gives me hope too. And off to the weekend we go.